Hey, what's up guys? Floyd here, back with another video. Back like we never even left, even though it's been probably too long. And today we're continuing with the audio journey, and big break, big pause, and to say a continuation. But my life's been crazy. I've moved twice in like the past year or 2 years now, I guess. And I'm in my own apartment by myself now. I have like a ton more space, and I don't know, things have been crazy, but that's why I haven't been doing the YouTube stuffs. But we're back at it, and today we are talking about audio. We're talking about the Apple earbuds, right? The original ones. And we're talking about basically, in the original video, in the original AudioFlo, files from years ago, years in the past when I made the original video, I showed a bunch of different audio gear, and I said I was gonna spend time with each piece and kind of rediscover what these different stages in like the audio, what I think like the ladder is, or like climbing to the summit, the audio hi-fi summit. So I'm still continuing with that idea, and I still think it's a good idea. And what I want to talk about with these is as you climb up that summit, and you learn more about the audiophile community, the audiophile hobby, you learn more things, more, I guess, information that you take in. You learn about measurements and different things that are factors in what is affecting the sound you're listening to, right? And I think that these, for me, represent a special place. The Apple Dirty Buds represent a special place because it represents a time before any of this stuff mattered, and none of this shit mattered back when I was in middle school and high school, and even into like my first 2 years of college. Like I barely cared about sound the way I care about sound now, even though I love music. And with the Dirty Buds here, with the Apple Dirty Buds, I remember being in middle school and being in high school, 24/7, these things were in my ear. This is what I was listening to, so this is, for me, this is the original sound. This is the first sound that, ever existed. And I remember, using these, and I would have them, just in school all day, in my pocket, pull out my pocket, and it's tangled like this. It's impossible to untangle. It's tangled every time you put it in your pocket, no matter how well you line them up, that type of stuff. And also like warming up for wrestling matches when I wrestled in middle school and high school. This is like what got my hype on, what turned me on, before I had to go whoop somebody's ass, get out in the ring and whoop somebody's ass. That's what these mean to me, is like a time in audio where like it wasn't about anything about what the thing you're listening to is. It's about I'm listening to my hype music, I'm getting I'm fucking starting out the V, that's what's going on for me. Listening to these now, right after all that time, I'm gonna like say some things, and the way I describe things might not make sense, but like as I think we progress with this video series, right, we're gonna learn more of these things, or I'm gonna explain more of these things so that it makes more sense and puts into perspective what I'm saying when I mean something, because it's not gonna mean anything until you have like a baseline understanding. So people that if you know already, you're gonna know what I'm talking about. But for me, listening to these, the thing about earbuds is when they go in your ear, they're not sealing, right? So they're just sitting in this part of your ear right here, this large opening that's called like the concha, right? And they're basically resting right there. And versus an IEM, an in-ear monitor, or something that has a tip on it, right? The tip goes all the way into your ear canal, and then it forms a seal, right? So because of that, with the earbuds, they don't extend very well in either direction for me. Listening to them, right? They sound kind of like a V shape. You know, they kind of have like the mid bassy like mud or bloat, and then they have, you know, almost like no mids at all. Like the mids are like super thin and flat and dead, and then no, there's like sibilance, you know, and it's bright, but there's no extension in the upper ear. There's no extension in the sub bass, so you know you don't feel like any type of like visceral rumble or like anything like that, or any type of texture from the bass really. And for me, like the soundstage, right? So soundstage, I guess, is one thing I can explain, you know, with earbuds, because they have like uh, a weird presentation compared to like IEMs, right? They're in your head, so like a lot of times when you listen to them, the presentation of the sound sounds very in your head. And when you listen to headphones, it sounds like maybe a bit broader, you know, and then you listen to speakers and it sounds like, you know, you have, or you're like at a concert, you know, it's all in front of you, you know, it's all around you, you know, the sound's around you. So basically you're trying to reach that speaker like presentation. And when I'm listening to these with the soundstage, you know, I feel like I hear it from right here, from the back of my ears across my face, like this, like a little like bubble, you know, which is kind of odd, but like it makes everything sound far away, but also like there's no depth, so it's the same distance. So like the cymbals and the drums or whatever, and the guitar and the vocals all sound like it's the same distance away, you know, right in front of my face, and it's just different volumes of it, maybe, you know, is the best way to describe it. Instead of it sounding like one sounds distant and far away and one sounds closer, they sound like the same distance, right? So it's like really, I don't know, a really weird thing to explain. And like I feel like the more you get into the hobby and the more you learn about it, you know, you probably understand that better. But for now, that's been the Apple Dirty Buds. And like I'm saying, this represents like a time where, I don't know, for me growing up, I always had these, and the only other thing that like, the only idea of like a better audio experience is like kids had like Beats. But like, you know, to me Beats was also like, oh, that just means you have money, you know. Didn't mean like, I don't know, I heard Beats before when I was in middle school and high school, and it's not anything I really desired. I always had these, you know. But in the next one we'll get into IEMs, you know, and get into, hopefully, like I'll go through bullet style IEMs, and I'll just do a whole roundup for like all the bullet style IEMs I have, and talk about that. And it'll be like intro to frequency response, and talking about like what I think about that, my ideas. And this is all just like my ideas, you know, and my journey with the audio stuff, and how I've experienced things. And you know, I feel like it's so hard to put things into words sometimes, you know, with what you're hearing, for other people to understand it, you know. And it's like some people don't care about this stuff at all. Some people just use whatever headphones they want, you know, or like they have one pair of headphones and that's the only pair of headphones they need. And I've put not a good amount of money into, like, unhealthy amount of money into this hobby. So I think it's important that like I make it a reason, you know, I make it more of a statement that, you know, this is a big deal to me, and I just want, you know, to make more connections and build more understanding in this community. So yeah, hopefully I catch you guys in the next one, and peace.